What up, what up, what up? Good night, everyone. This is Mr. Bradshaw from Thatman Travels here for another Thatman TV discussion with I have a beautiful young lady on tonight. We're going to be talking about some travel. We're going to talk about a little spirituality. So we're going to touch all bases tonight. I am so sorry that I showed up here late. And man, everything that could happen happened tonight as far as technical difficulties. My HDMI cable broke. I had to run to Best Buy to go get another one. Then I had audio issues, and then I launched just not too long ago the scheduled live. And I don't know, I was there talking and it wasn't broadcasting. So here we go. Started this whole thing over. So welcome. Y'all can just say hello. I'll greet all of y'all if you want in the chat right there before I bring my guest on. Again, I'll be speaking to Miss Kennedy Johnson, and an amazing individual. And I'm going to go through all the amazing things that she's been doing, and I can't wait to share with y'all. So let's see. Fafi, hi. How are you? You keeping us eating? What do you mean keep you eating? You was waiting, you just chomping away, eating at some stuff. Who else is in here? Anybody else? And where you're from? No? Okay. I'm gonna just get this thing popping because it's time. All right. So with no further ado, I am going to introduce you guys to Miss Kennedy Johnson. There she is.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. How are you?
Absolutely. I'm good. You know I'm all right. We was talking behind this. You know everything that I was going through. Don't act brand new like you just popped in here. You know what I mean? Like, hi, how are you doing? We was like sweating back behind the
Yeah.
scenes. Christina's here. Hi, Christina. Joe, what up? Joe from South Jersey. That's my man, Joe. Were you able to share the live, Kennedy?
Yeah, and I'm sharing it in a few other places right now.
Amazing, amazing. So yeah, we're live. I was trying to go on live on Instagram, but with all the technical difficulties, I couldn't work that out. So we just on YouTube, on Facebook tonight. So people on YouTube, what up? Okay, now let me all right, let me talk about this lady real quick. Then I'm gonna do your intro video. You already know how I do, Kennedy. I'm gonna set you up real nice. All right. So Kennedy is a trip curator. She's a philanthropist. She's a fashion designer. She's a visual artist. She makes friggin' furniture out of fucking cardboard, believe it or not. Like the chick got 50 million jobs. Okay. And like I could think of nothing better to play than this right here.
I was a wedding photographer, meter maid, shoe salesman, woman instructor, sushi chef, corporate lawyer, court-appointed lawyer, labor lawyer, litigator, prosecutor, process server, barrister, court stenographer, bailiff, and Jacoby and Myers.
That's Kennedy for you. She does every damn thing. Oh shit, Miss Dr. Cliff is in the house. What up, Cliff? All right. So yeah, Kennedy, like actually before we go into it, let me just do a little intro so people can actually see what it is that you do. This will sum everything up. And here we go. Then we're gonna let you talk, Kenny. I'm gonna just let you go.
All right.
Here we go.
Thank
Wow.
you. Wow.
That was fire. That was fire. You like that? You know,
I love that. What an introduction.
Come on now. Come on. So we gonna get into it. Miss Kennedy Johnson. Um, First of all, let's talk about all right, you curate trips, you do travel to Africa. I want to hear all about that. The company, like go into it. Green Book Travel. Tell me about Green Book Travel.
Yes, so I am the owner founder of Green Book Travel, and I host ancestry and heritage tours. The tours are very cultural immersive. I started Green Book in 2018 based on my love for travel and just a real deep calling to not only myself connect, but lead others to these sacred lands and connecting to traditions and, our family, our distant relatives in Africa, and also visit places that have a Black imprint and explore our culture. So it's not just limited to Africa, but we're predominantly focused on exploring the Americas, Africa, and the Caribbean and the Black imprint. So it's just my love for the culture and just doing things all, blackety black.
Blackety black. Okay, so when did you start doing Green Book? When did you start curating these trips?
So Green Book officially formed in 2018. So we're still a fairly new company. Um, at that point, I had explored about 50 countries, and I started co-assisting, leading other trips to the continent. And I just had a greater vision that was downloaded to me and making sure that people connect to their lineage. Um, the ancestral journey is just so profound. And I know we'll get into things like that a little bit later, but it was just really important to connect the history to the culture. I think it was a mass awakening around the time, and you'll see it throughout some of my other lines of business with fashion and beauty. And you just played one of my favorite songs in the
Love that song.
introduction to music. So the world is embracing the African community and our connections. So it's important for me to be a conduit to that.
That's beautiful. Like, did you get people looking at you crazy? Like, why are you going to Africa? Because I get it all the time. Do you get that?
Yeah, of course. I think the media has did a great job with the propaganda of Africa's poor and Africa's not safe, and it thrives off a charity-based system. So whenever I was telling people I was going to Africa, I was always met with those challenges of safety and making sure that I'm not involved in other things, and that I'm not leading people astray with going over there. So just debunking that. And then what I realized too, just through like my love for art, it is very important to re-image Africa and show people that Africa isn't the diseased places that we've seen historically, full of poverty. I'm from Detroit, Michigan originally, so there's areas of light everywhere. You can drop us anywhere in the world and we'll see that and explore that. But I want to make sure that we don't that we're not exploiting that, and that we're showing the beauty of the land. It's our homeland. So something I'm really passionate about.
I love that. I love that. Okay. So I love people who are just intellects, and you are an intellect. So I'll give you an example, guys, what I'm talking about, right? So she had hit me up, and she showed me her logo for Green Book Travel. But because I was so ignorant at the time, I'm like, why the hell are you calling your trips Green Book? But I did not know the history about the whole Green Book portion. And it's only until that movie came out afterwards and I put it together. I'm like, Carrie W, like, what? So go ahead, explain the Green Book, how you infused it into your business,
Well, as a
what it
traveler,
means.
as a black traveler, you know, um, we are out there on a wide spread. So as I started traveling pretty late in life. I would be the only one on the plane, my friends, only African American Black person of African descent on the plane. And people would think that I was a celebrity. People would think, um, that, or I'm traveling because I'm the help. And so it was just very important to just kind of pay homage to Victor Hugo Green. I consider him the godfather of Black travel because he provided safe a guidebook of safe places to go. And I liken that to my company, that when I'm taking people to these places, that it's also done in safety, and they're in good hands.
Gotcha. So let's not assume that everybody knows. What's his name? See, I don't even know his name.
Victor Hugo Green.
Victor Hugo Green. So apparently, this guy, he made like a book. That's why they call it a green book, of places that are safe for Black folks to travel through the South, right, or through all of America. Like, what is it? Restaurants they could stop at, not be hassled, right? So I love it that you infuse that into the whole thing. I really dig that. It's amazing. But that's cool. So what trips do you have going on this year?
So this year we have Tanzania, Zanzibar. We have Ghana on the agenda a few times, Nigeria, Benin, Togo, Senegal, Gambia, and we're going to add Mali pretty soon. And I'm really excited about that, in Sierra Leone.
Oh, Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
Really? See, that's the programming I already had on my head. I just picture the kids with their hands chopped off, because Sierra Leone was like super. It was a lot going on back in the day.
You think of the blood diamonds. A lot of people think of it that way.
Okay, so now it's evened out a little bit. Things are, like Rwanda. Right? Have you been to Rwanda yet?
I haven't made it to Rwanda yet, but it's definitely considered one of the. Is ranked like number one as places to live right now on the continent. So
yeah, that's crazy how that made that big transition. So people can definitely change and make it better for themselves and the whole entire country. I hear everything great. Like, I hear great things from there. I hear it's like spotless there, like Japan. Like, I went to Japan and everything is spotless, but I heard it's just like that there, which is great. Let's see what else we're going to get into. So a lot of y'all women out there talk about, y'all call each other queens and XYZ, this, that, but this woman right here is like a real deal queen, right? So I want you to talk about that whole process. Like, how did that happen? Just go into all of that.
Oh, wow. I do want to say, I think this is the first time, well, this isn't the first time I talked about it on a public platform, but you'll be the first one to actually stream this story. This is a question that I'm asked quite often. When I first announced the news, most people thought that it was associated with marriage. I've been asked so many questions about how did this happen. And I'm have to actually kind of go back and tell a story, because in order for it to make sense, because it's not something that I could apply for. It's not something that I could ever put on, my vision board or bucket list to do. So I consider it a very, very divine. So I'd like to say it was something that was an assignment. It was an assignment, and I just been doing the work brick by brick with doing work on the continent. And a few months ago, I want to say it was back mid in the summer, I was working with Ebony Davis, model, activist. I consider her a great orator. She was going back to companies who actually put up the black box during the George Floyd situation, and instead of making sure, to ensure that this wasn't performative, she had them donate money towards her organization, Daughter Or. And we partnered together to take young scholars age 18 through 21 on their first trip to Africa, and also, experience the birthright journey. And while they're doing this, they were filming a documentary. And it was the all-girl film crew, Black Girls Film, shout out to them. And we're traveling along, and, we're giving these girls a trip of a lifetime, and it's just very beautiful. So after their trip has ended, I only have a little bit of time left, because we had a bit of an emergency. Someone came back with a negative COVID test, which required them to stay there a little bit longer. 18 years old, so of course she's a little bit scared. So we're able to manage that. And so I wanted to go to the northern region, because I was just in the pre-launch phase of my new beauty company, Joan International, that has a the first collection is based on my love for the continent. So it's the Africa to the World collection. And I wanted
This
to
is you right here.
expand
I'm
on that.
sorry to jump in, but this is the ceremony right here. What's going on? Can you just explain? All right, I'll let you finish. I'll let you
No
finish. Go
problem.
ahead. My bad.
So I wanted to expand on that. So I needed to go to the northern region, which is home of the shea butter. And I don't know anybody over in that region. I'm looking online. I'm trying to find a tour company or someone I can connect with that's over there because I'm going to have like 24 hours over there. And I'm just trying to take care of business very quickly. And I was running into a few things. I did find a couple of tour companies, but they weren't owned by locals. So I try to make sure I'm very intentional with who we align with. And that's one thing through Green Book. We only partner with local and make sure that we're not that we're very intentional with dealing with Black businesses globally.
I love
So
that.
let me back up. So during one of our and this is going to get I don't want to say I'm not going to use that word. It's going to get a little different this path of the story. So while
Oh,
we're doing our tours, have you been to the Slave River? We go to the Slave River in Ghana, and at the river we simulate the walk that our ancestors took. So we take off our shoes, we walk through the forest, and this is uh, the last bath. And so,
okay.
I consider it a very charged area. You can feel it. You've been to the Cape Coast dungeon, so you can feel it, and then by you grounding with your feet, it's very very strong. And so as we're led to the Slave River, um, you know, we were uh, we were having discussions about how our ancestors are very excited that we return. And they're like that every time we go. And I always tell people when we go back to Ghana, not only, it's always a different trip, but a lot of times you'll leave, it'll stir up your emotions. And then if you're very in tune, it's a good way to fortify yourself to come back and pour it into other things that you do. And so we're at this river, and there's some rituals there where, you kind of, you speak into the water,
Mhm.
and let them know what your wishes are and things that you like to see transpire. And one of the things I always ask for is to make sure that I'm in alignment with what I'm supposed to be doing. And
Purpose.
so I do my ritual. And one of the things that our guy explained is that there's a phenomenon that happens at this river, that
Really?
when people ask for things and they make these wishes upon these sites, that
Hmm.
it normally happens like in quantum time, happens so fast. And they've came back and people have tried to write books and do documentaries on this area, and he, shut it down. So it's a very sacred space. So, we go through the motion. I've been to these areas before. So my clients leave. I have 24 hours to go get shea butter. So I connect with an agency, a youth cultural tourism guide. So it's an agency that has kids that they actually employ to kind of take you around. The money goes right um, to the facility. So I'm really excited about that. And I make it, and they were very aware that I'm there just for business. So they're trying to sell me, other tours. I land, and they take me to the first Shea Collective because it was very important for me not only to see the process, but to document
Hmm.
it as well.
Hmm.
And they took me to an empty Shea Collective. And so they
Empty
took
what?
up an empty Shea Collective. Nobody's working. It's just,
Okay.
the basins are around, some shea nuts, and um, they pick up the bucket and they're like, "So this is shea butter," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know what that
Right.
looks like." And
Right.
so, I'm asking them to call for help or something because this is not what I signed up for. And a gentleman that works for the agency that goes by the name of Jamal, he shows up, and he's trying to work through it. At this time, I'm a bit hungry, and I just asked to go back to my hotel so we can figure things out. And in the meantime, they're explaining to me that the area is the area of traditional African kingdom, and it's customary that you need to go pay respects to the king. Because I'm moving around in their territories, I at least have to announce my presence.
Okay.
So no problem. I definitely want to be.
You got to check in.
Yeah, you have to check in. So, we went over there, and he was busy. And so they said, we can come back tomorrow. I make some phone calls with some other contacts. I arrange for someone else to take me to another shade collective later on, and we get that done. So when I finally go back to the king's palace, we go in, and I've met with traditional rulers quite a few times. So everything was pretty standard. They don't speak English at all. So my partner, which I call him Semi, he's my Wulana, my linguist, he was my guide at the time, Mr. Jamal. Okay. He's speaking on my behalf. And so we go in, we see the elders are present, the king comes in, and they just, grant us, we just, they're very hospitable. So we introduce ourselves. I let them know, thank you for having me. I'm here in this area, and, I hope that this isn't a goodbye, that they'll see me later. And they're just talking amongst themselves in their language. And then they asked me to stand up and come sit to the right of the king.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I'm like, okay. And it's funny when I look back, because I have pictures, because I have my Africa shaped palette. So I'm like, this is a great time to take a product placement picture next to the king. So I'm sitting there with my palette, right? And, because no one's speaking English. So they then go to, he extends cola nuts to me. And then they go on to explain that the significance of where you're seated at determines your height. Cola nuts.
Cola nuts. Okay, gotcha.
Cola nuts, yes.
Okay, all right.
And so, which was an official welcome. And then they explain the order that they're seating me in is based on hierarchy. And they explain where I'm seated at means that I'm important. And so I'm just like, oh, okay, great. And then, they say some prayers, and then they say, you need to go prepare yourself to be installed as a queen. And I'm like, okay, I don't know exactly.
So you go for shea butter, and they're about to queendom you.
Yes.
What does installment mean?
I'll go over that with you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because that's very specific to regions. And so I'm like, what exactly does that mean? They usher us out. Now I'm with the secretary, and now Jamal is interpreting things, and they're taking contact information. They're saying, go prepare. And I'm like, how do I prepare? What am I preparing for? Is this a yes, no thing? What are my responsibilities? I have a lot of questions in my head. And so we leave, and, I really didn't think too much more about it. I was like, okay, prepare for a queen. I'm leaving again. I only have 24 hours here. So I'm leaving pretty soon. So I'm going home. And what they explained to me is, no, it's based on, it's very ritual based. So they have to make some prayers and meditate on, whatever this calling was, that I'm their person. And it's based on a lunar calendar. So they'll contact me. And so I end up getting my shea, and Mr. Jamal, is continuing to be in contact with me along with the secretary. And they messaged me, and they're like, we spotted the moon. And they start counting from that time. And they wanted me to come for my installment. And during this time, Mr. Francis, which is an older gentleman who helped facilitate me actually finding some shea produce. While we're driving casually to the place, I mentioned what happened, and he almost like crashed the car. He goes, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Do you know how? Yeah. He goes, "Do you know how serious this is?" Yeah, no. And he goes, "This is a big thing." He starts explaining to me how my king is connected directly to the parliament. He's over Tamale. He's like under the overlord, and this position has been filled in 7 years, and this isn't anything that that you can go up for. Of course, there's probably other people that's ahead of me, but it's truly like an assignment, a calling onto me. And I'm just like, okay, I'm processing it, and I come home, and so they message me and they tell me we've sighted the moon. And in the meantime, we're having some discussions because I needed to understand, that's not the type of governing board or anything that we've ever really learned about formally, or things that we had played
Right.
out. And it's a position that has a lot of responsibilities. So I went back for my ceremony, and
Hold on. Let me just massage this a little bit. So you went for the shea butter, right? They put
yeah.
you in a seating arrangement hierarchy where you're now like they're considering you for the queendom, and then you leave with this person who is now like in awe. Like, how much time goes from the time you leave from that first interaction to when they're now telling you to come back for the installment? Like, how much time is transpired?
About 2 months.
Okay. So you had some time to go home, think about it. Were they in contact with you the whole entire time, or was it like
A little bit.
silence?
No,
Okay.
they were just, asking me, they were saying I had to prepare. So it was more so me leading the discussion, because I'm like, what exactly does prepare mean?
Right.
And, you know, I'm
Yeah.
like, is this a scam? My brain is just going
Of
all over
course.
the place. I'm like, what do you need from me? And, it was not tied to them asking for anything at all.
Hmm.
The preparation was for me to also go into counsel of myself and, my ancestors and higher power, to make sure that this is something that, that I am downloaded to have. And I began to
Yeah.
take that journey. And so I told them that I was coming back. They gave me the date range because, again, it's based on the lunar calendar, the full moon sighting. And they
That's
arranged
wild.
my ceremony for a Friday, and Damba Festival is Saturday and Sunday. And what Damba Festival is, a celebration of chieftaincy, where people from all over the villages come out and they pay homage and respect to
To the
the
truth.
traditional rulers of the land. So it was a pretty big weekend.
Wow. Okay. So you come back, and what happens? Like this.
So they were messaging me to coordinate my arrival time. And I knew at that point, I figured, I said, this must be, a big deal. I still had no idea the magnitude of it. So, they came to my hotel, explained, they'll come get me at this time. This is the time of your ceremony. And I'm asking, do I need to bring anything? And they're like, no, we have your royal garments for you. And when I arrived that next morning, it was, in my head, I thought that it was akin to like a graduation ceremony, maybe something ritual related,
Something
for
small. You
libations,
wasn't
prayer.
expecting nothing huge.
Yeah, yeah. And
Okay. So this is the joint right here, what I'm playing right now. Right?
yeah.
So what explain to me what's going on right now?
So this is after my formal announcement, after they've actually and skinned me as a queen, and they're basically washing my feet to wash away my past as I step into my new role.
Ooh,
And that was, the barrier that I was entering in to claim my throne.
wow. Okay, so this thing right here, this is all you. This is all for you right now. All this that's going on right
And the guy that's dancing, that's Mr. Jamal that worked for the agency. And there was rumors going around that I was installing some kings. And again, I'm there's no job description to this, and
now.
I'm like, I'm installing a king. And then Mr. Jamal explained to me that yeah, the ranking that I have as the queen is equivalent to a king ruler, where I'm close in hierarchy to the actual king.
Ooh,
And people wanted this assignment for me to, because now I have the ability to create kings. And I figured, he's been my connection to the continent and been facilitating the whole interaction since I arrived. So traditionally, this is a role that's given to you by lineage, and I just wanted to, change his life too. So I installed him as my Ulana, he's my sub chief.
He's your sub chief. Sub.
So I like to think of it like Coming to America, Arsenio Hall, Eddie Murphy. So he's my Arsenio Hall. Whenever I'm walking into places, he's in front of me. If someone needs to talk to me, they have to talk to him. If we're sitting at a formal ceremony, he's usually sitting at my feet. And then he, if they come and someone needs to speak to him, to me, they speak to him, and then he in turn speak to me, and I speak to him, and then he delivers the message.
That's wild.
Yes.
That's wild. Okay.
Yes.
So your responsibilities are to install kings.
Well, that's not my predominant responsibility. My main responsibility is to, basically assist with governing of the land. Also, since I work in the tourism sector, I'm considered basically a line to help people come there and visit. But I don't only come there and visit. One of the biggest things is to develop the region. And in my area, it's a population of 1 million people. So it's a very serious role that I have.
Wow. So, and you're the first, I guess, non-African. Well, you're African, but you know what I mean. You was
right. Yeah. First African American with this title. Yeah.
So, what is it like? You spoke to that king or that person who decided to bestow this thing on you. Do you ask why me? Why me?
No, I didn't ask that question. I think I was really affirmed through the work, and I had to ask when everything happened prior to my installment, why me? And that's when I kind of put two and two together. I said, I like to liken it to my experience with what I put out when I was at the river with asking, for me to be aligned. I often joke that my ancestors and my spirit guides, they're very aggressive and they like to fulfill things in a crazy way. So if I ask for something, if I say, hey, I'm looking to get in a relationship, they're going to send 50 guys. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So whenever I put things into the universe and, I'm asking the universe to conspire for some things, it normally shows up beyond what I could ever expect. So I think this is one of those situations.
This is wild. I've known Kennedy for years, and I think we had a discussion where sometimes she'll tell me some crazy shit that's happening to her. Everything is always aligned and things are pieces are put in place for her, and it always works out. It's kind of nuts, So, I mean, you must have, I don't know, you meditate and stuff like that. Are you a very spiritual person?
Yeah, absolutely. I do meditate. So I do want to say one of the ways that I was affirmed that during my ceremony, in the video, you can hear at times there's a loud, tribal squeal. So a lot of times there's a band and there's praise singers and they're singing, which is, the tribal sound. And what was explained to me was they have a gift, and what they're singing is basically the message that they have. And what it was translated to was, my father's father is a great man, and they thank me for coming back, and I'm considered the most beautiful queen. It was something along that nature, and I'm just looking at this point. I'm in tears. What are you? These are people I've never met before. So,
right, wild. Have you done your ancestry to see where that takes you?
Yeah. So when I first started my journey, I actually did my ancestry. That's what led me on to going to most of the African countries that I went to. So I've been just going backwards, and trying to connect all of my cousins. So, and through my ancestry, I also collected my dad. So last year was a pretty big year for me.
Right. I didn't know if you wanted to go into that, but yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah, no problem.
absolutely amazing. Yeah. So yeah, you want to go.
That was,
First of
yeah, that
all,
was another
I
magical
just need to
thing.
be around you so I can rub off some of that whatever you got going on there. Because go ahead, tell a story about your dad so people can
Well,
get
now
to know.
my friend, they've dubbed the shea butter that I actually collected. I brought back a sample. And
Yeah,
when I told someone the story, they were like, that's sacred shea. That is royal shea. Don't touch it. And they were saying, I should, just save it for
listen,
special, anoint people with it. And
no, I
I
want
just can't
some of
believe
that
it.
shade,
So
straight
I'll
up.
send you some shea.
Let me get some of that shade because I need it. Wait, hold on.
Yeah,
Cliff just said what Cliff said. I am the Ochimi linguist interpreters class as well. My Ghana name is Yao Bafo. Yao Bafo. Ah, so Cliff, you're a linguist. What languages do you talk? Speak, Cliff.
that is so
That's
cool.
interesting. Yeah, Cliff
So my
came.
royal name is
Yeah,
Zosamlina is my royal
Zoso.
name. Zosamlina
Did you get that name at during this queen and
ceremony.
installment?
Yes.
Okay. Oh shit, I forgot to ask you. So what's the difference between installment and enskinment?
So it's based on region. So the Ashanti tribe in Ghana, they're known for their gold and their ornate stools, the golden stool.
Right.
And in my area, they're known for skin. So it's enskinment. And the skin is usually represented whenever I sit, my feet isn't supposed to touch the ground. So there's normally a leather footstool and it's sitting on animal skins, or if I'm sitting down on the floor, it should be on the animal skin. So it's the connection with nature
Oh,
and animals.
amazing. Okay, okay. So yeah, I cut you off and I put you on another tangent, but we were about to talk about the situation with your dad, right? So
With my dad.
you grew up in foster care, right?
I grew up where? Well, no, so a bit. So I grew up in a very fragmented family. I
Okay.
wasn't raised by my mother. My mother suffered from a very early onset mental disease, schizophrenic, drug induced. She was slipped some drugs when I
Mm.
was like 1 year old. So
Ooh.
my family, mental health wasn't very prominent in our communities, definitely not in the
Of course
early
not.
80s. So
Yeah.
they institutionalized her. And I was raised by my grandmother and grandfather, and my memory goes back really, really young. So I remember my mother being there, and all of a sudden, mother's gone, and they just started to kind of overcompensate. My grandmother passed away when I was 10 years old. My grandmother
Okay.
always prepared me for her death too. She was waiting on a heart transplant, so she said when she would train me for her pager, and she always said she wanted to die at home. So my grandmother actually died bedside with me. Very, very peaceful. I've witnessed a few deaths and transitions after them, but that was very peaceful. I was very young at that time. Um, that's something completely a whole other tangent on some of the other work that I did in life. But I think my grandmother kind of prepared me for that. So at that time, our family dynamics, my grandmother was the glue to the family. So our family dynamics shift. And then not only that, 30 days prior to my grandmother's death, my aunt died. So I feel like my grandmother died from a broken heart. My aunt had a lot of kids. So we just became, uh, up under the guardianship of one family member and kind of kids figuring it out. And um, teen pregnancy met me. And when I got pregnant, the cycle never changes. My family then took me away. So I ended up a product of foster care very late in life at the age of 15. And
Sucks.
and so since to segue to the ancestry, since my mother suffered from a mental break very early on, questions of who my father is, or anything like that never occurred. And honestly, my grandfather was in the house, and my grandfather did a great job of just stepping into that role. So I
Mm-hmm.
never really had like a thing about who's my dad, or, um, it just never was in the back of my head. Then I became a mom. So just life came at me too fast to ever even,
Yeah.
think about that. So last year, 2016, I did my ancestry test. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm just doing it just so that I can direct my travel more. And, it was just done through ancestry.com. And I
Mm-hmm.
started, you get the alerts, and, fifth cousin, sixth cousin, you're always getting some different dings. And I was getting ready to go to Senegal, and it's about midnight. I'm like 1 month out from Senegal, and it's really late at night, and something tells me to go check my ancestry. So when I logged in, it had an alert that I have a first cousin.
Okay.
And I'm like, I know my cousins, I don't know
Right.
this. I don't know this guy. My cousins, we were pretty close knit. So I went to Facebook, typed in his name. His picture came up. He lived in Michigan too. So I'm like, okay. And we share like 15 chromosomes, which is really high for cousins. So we're 100% cousins, no doubt about it,
Oh,
first cousins.
right.
And then it, Ancestry allows you to see who you share common relatives with. And so
Right.
as I'm looking at that, I noticed that he didn't share. I have one other sibling. My cousin's kid actually took the test. And so we didn't share her in common. So I instantly knew that this was my dad's side. So I just
Mm.
sent him a message, and I'm like, hey, cousin, we linked on, we've matched on ancestry.com. And yeah, and so the next morning he messaged, hey, this is really cool. So how are we related? And I'm like, well, you're my cousin, so that means your uncle is my dad.
Just like that.
So at this point, it's kind of like radio silent. I'm sure he's going through my profile, trying to,
Of course.
put pieces together. And he
He's
tries
trying
to
to
call me through
get some
Messenger.
money.
Yeah, he tries to call me through Messenger. It doesn't work, so I give him my phone number. So he calls me and he's like, hey, cousin. And I'm like, hey, Jay. And he was like, so your my uncle's your dad, right? And then so I'm like, yeah, he goes, do you know his name? And I'm like, absolutely not. And the only thing we would always say is we knew my father was brown complected and tall because of my height and stature, right? And my complexion compared to other family members. And so that's very vague. That could be, a lot of people. So
Right.
um he goes, and you grew up in Michigan, right? So I'm like, yeah, I live in Arizona. I've been out here for about 11 years. And he made it so easy. He said, well, I'm a little bit different out of the rest of the family. And, so I'm like, how so? So he explains to me that his dad is Lebanese, and his mother um, has two brothers. And out of the two brothers, they were born and raised in Alabama. And out of two brothers, one went to Michigan, um, a few years prior to me being born. And he goes, he starts naming all these siblings and giving me the family history. And at this point, I'm taking out a pen and paper and I'm writing this down, like, what in the world? And um, he goes, yeah, there's some real nice people, so you can look them up. And, um, if you're anything like my Uncle Milton, you love to travel, and he's very enterprising. Because so so now I'm really like, you don't say.
Right.
And he sent me a picture, and when he sent me the picture, I automatically knew. I was like, oh my god.
Just
And
like
he goes, yeah, and your little brother, he goes, he's tall as, he cursed. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm tall too. So
right. Yeah. You're like 6 foot, right?
yeah, yeah. And so my little brother is like 6'7", 6'8", through the roof. And
Right.
so I'm like, wow, he goes, so yeah, what do you want to do? Let's go on the three-way.
Just like that.
So I'm like, wow, absolutely not. I've never prepared to like have a discussion like this. And again, I don't know. So I'm explaining to him that, I don't know him. I don't know like the current situation.
Hold on,
I'm not coming with
Kennedy.
like, oh,
So you, sorry to cut you, but so you
no, you're
never
fine.
met this man before, ever? Like
Ever in
you
life.
never, you didn't know what his name was.
No clues. The only clues
Didn't
was
know
he was tall and brown.
he was what, tall and brown. Okay, so your mom didn't really talk about him at all.
No, because mom was gone at 2 and I had been
Oh, at two.
rekindling.
Okay, dang, you
Yeah,
got
and I had
early.
been rekindling mom, my mom and I relationship actually over the past 2 years too, with reaching out because, of her condition. She never really gravitated towards family because how that happened. She was abandoned. So I had just been, kind of working on getting a relationship with her without her
Right,
thinking that the family has like external motives. So
right,
yeah, nothing about dad. So so I told him no, I'm not, calling him. And the most craziest thing is he said, "Do you have a picture of your mom?" Now remember, I
okay,
wasn't raised by my mom, but my family always have loved pictures. Our whole family, we've been in front of cameras our whole lives. When my
right,
grandmother passed, they were arguing about the photo albums. And so we were able to keep some of those. So whenever I'm around, I'm kind of taking the pictures and I'm putting them in my vault over here. So the week prior, I don't even know what I was in that vault for. I was in the vault getting something. I come across a wallet sized image of my mom. I take it out, I put it on my dresser. So when he asked me this, I'm an arm length away from the picture. It was like a movie, like slow motion. I just look at the picture and I'm like, I do. The picture had to be taken around the time, like maybe 1 year prior to me being conceived. So it was a very accurate picture of who she was at the time. So I
okay.
took the image, I sent it to him. So he called my dad and gave me a call back. He said, "Well, I talked to him. He said your mom looks familiar." He couldn't quite
Fire,
figure it out. I'm like,
fire,
"Yeah, I bet she
fire,
does."
fire. Okay. All
You
right.
know, he said, so I told him my dad builds a lot of stuff too, right? So he said, I told him he might be having a drink. I don't know, but I gave him your number, no worries. So about 10, 15 minutes later, my phone rings and it's my dad. And he's like, "Hello." And I'm like, "Hello." He
So
goes,
awkward. Like, what
"Yeah,
are you saying
it's
under
so
the
awkward." And he
circumstances,
says
right?
it again. And then I said again, we both laugh and our laugh is kind of similar. So I'm just like, oh my goodness. And
Right.
the first thing he says is, "So what are you kids doing on the internet?"
Sounds like a father thing to say.
Yeah. So I explained to him the test and he was very, 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 very open and sweet. And he just said, "Well, what do I need to do?" Because of course he had no idea that I existed at all.
Right.
And so he ordered the test too. But in the meantime, while we were waiting on that, we would talk every week a few times, and he was just update me on history. My siblings started calling because at this point, Jamal, the cousin, he's put out the word to the whole family, and they're a very, very close knit family. So my phone's ringing with my sisters and making introductions. One of my sisters, she's like the historian of the family. She's the griot. So she's sending me images of my great grandmother, my great grandfather. She's telling me stories about them and just my life is coming full circle,
Full
so to
circle.
speak.
That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. So you have cultivated a relationship with him now, and y'all are like,
Yeah.
it's all
So he
no
called
matter
me on
what.
Easter and that was the best gift. He said, "Hi, daughter." And his test results had came in.
Oh,
So, I've been back and forth and he's taken me we did a road trip because he
that's
doesn't
beautiful.
let grass grow under his feet. And so we
Right.
went to
Right.
Alabama too and met some of the other siblings. My daughter and I, we went back a few months back. She's met them. They actually went to one of her shows. It's just been a
Awesome.
very beautiful journey. And this was all like leading up to my enthusment. So it was definitely a full circle moment.
That is so wild. I know her. She has more stories like this, but we don't have enough time to go through all of them. But that's her life. This whole thing, everything that she's talking about today, like it's her entire life. These things happen to her. But I'm happy you got reconnected with your dad, man. When I see the pictures on Facebook, man, I smile like from ear to ear. So I'm happy about that. Um, before how much time I got left? Probably about 10 minutes. We've been on here for 15 minutes. So I just want to touch on the other stuff that you do. And like again, we don't have enough time because you do a whole bunch of shit. But let me tell you, Kennedy takes some of the best travel photos, period. And I'm a professional photographer. For those of you who don't know, curated.com, go check it out. But I would see your photos. Like the first time I saw you, I don't know, it was probably in Black Travel, whatever that group is called, Black Travel Movement. And I'm looking at this woman's photos and I'm like, damn, she takes some great photos, right? And I friended her, I think, and we just started talking, exchanging like messages back and forth. But I just want to show you guys. I'm going to show you some of these pictures, Kennedy, because I don't know how, like, some people just born with a natural gift to just have a beautiful eye for photography. You're one of them. So let me just share the screen real quick. I want people to see what the hell I'm talking about. All right, bye. Let's go into it. Let's go into it. Let me blow it up on the screen. Okay, here we go. First of all, where is this?
That is here locally. So that is an image from my fashion show during COVID. It was a virtual fashion show, and I was the girls in my designs. This was
Okay.
in Milan
Okay.
Fashion
See,
Week.
she's giving face. The makeup is done real nice. Look at this joint right here. Who took this picture, first and foremost?
Usually there's never a designated photographer. I always compose
Did
it.
you set this shot up? You set this up?
Yeah, I always set all of my shots up.
All right, so she set all the shots up, and then she has a human tripod. That's what I call them. You just give them the phone or the camera, and you say, take the pictures. Where is this? This is Ghana, probably.
This is Ghana. This is at Labadi Beach, and this was
Labadi
actually
Beach.
done. This was by a photographer, Disney.
So, all right, I'm gonna just go through a few of these, man. She's killing them. All right. Also, I want to talk about. This is Tamale, right? No, this is Togo, Benin.
Yes.
Benin. Okay. Now your outfits. Did you make this joint right here?
So I designed. So all of my clothes that I wear are actually designed by myself. I have a fashion house called Social Fabric, and it's a sustainable fashion line where I utilize a local fashion artisans in the continent within West Africa, and they bring my designs to life. And they're all one of a kind pieces that I design. And I have showcases here. I've been very fortunate to be embraced on a lot of runways, and my designs end up in a lot of homes.
Let's not mention Essence magazine. You've been in that joint, been featured in that joint multiple times. Yeah. Now, if they want to see your Social Fabric, right, where do they go to?
Social Fabric on Instagram, Social Fabric Co. And we also curate bespoke pieces. So if you have a special event coming up and you want something, or you just want a design in your home that you want to have some of these garments, you can always reach out to us, and I can walk you through curating and bringing your design alive.
That is amazing. Hold on, I think I forgot to add that joint last night. Let me see if I get this shit right. Oops. So this is it right here, right? That's the Social Fabric code. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
And they can also go on greenbooktravel.com/social fabric with the case.
Here we go. There it is. I'm ready for you. Greenbooktravel.com. All right. So Social Fabric, and your trips are on there too, right?
Yes. We'll be uploading Benin, Togo, and Mali coming up.
Benin, Togo, and Mali. All right.
Our December in Ghana, and we're actually taking people on a royal adventure this October when Damba comes back up. And I would love to have people come to the kingdom with me. So I'm really excited about that. Ooh. I'm just waiting on the moon to get started before I can load that trip in the system.
You're waiting. Okay. Did you say you're waiting on the moon?
Yes, because remember the festivities are all aligned with the
Right,
moon, the
aligned.
lunar calendar. Yeah.
That is freaking crazy. All right, let's go. I gotta show some more of these pictures, Kennedy. I can't let it go
Thank you.
just yet. I gotta show some more. Let's see. Hold on. Let me get this thing popping. I need to bring Brianna in here. She's my daughter, and I need to let her do like behind, like control all this stuff because it's too much for me to do all this stuff by myself. What's going on here? Why isn't it okay? Ooh, look at that! You set that shadow. I feel like I know. Is this Booty Fall? Booty Fall?
Yeah, that's a
I know.
both.
Yeah. All right. All right. Wait. Let me get to the what's going on here.
So this was actually before my installment or anything related to queendom, and I was working with this was during COVID, and I was working with some local artisans here in Arizona, and some local artisans and model talent, and we were just creating over COVID, just trying to bring some images to life, and we wanted to
Mm,
create some strong Black images, and this was just a product of it.
this is beautiful. Did you set this up? This is all in your head.
Yes,
You saw this in your man. Crazy. Okay. This is. I know this is Tamale. This is at that mosque, right?
Laura Banga Ma.
Yes, I've been there. Okay. Beautiful. All right. Let's get to the good stuff, man. All right. Here we go. This is where Jordan, Egypt.
Yes, Jordan, one of my favorite
Um,
places.
yeah. I haven't been there yet, but I can't wait to go. Now your outfits, right?
Yes.
You do all of these outfits yourself.
Yes.
You got
So if I don't,
yeah.
so all of the African fabric designs that you see me in, those are all my own designs. The other things are things that I actually source. When I think of destinations, I always think about like what concept would I want to portray there and how would I want to be seen? So essentially I've made myself my own muse for Black travel because growing up we didn't have guides where we could see images of Black people exploring the world. So I try to
Right.
take a piece of that and incorporate it through all of my travel and doing it by documenting my art and having these things that can last
Yeah.
a lifetime past my trip.
Absolutely. You need to get that coffee table book. I'm sure you heard it 50 million times. I'm will be 50 million on one to tell you. So yeah, you might need to get that pop in. Joe says beautiful pictures. Listen, Joe, this is just a spec. The woman has like a hard drive full of photos that she just got sitting around doing nothing with. So I begged her for these pictures. Um, where is this? Mexico, right?
Hmm.
Uh-huh. All right. Uh, let's get to, ooh, okay. So where's this right here? In Kennedy, where's this?
It's a little bit of a lag. Oh, that is in Chile.
Chile. Haven't been to Chile, but I'm going because that's where there's a lot of UFO sightings. People who don't know, I'm into UFOs and aliens because they're gonna drop that shit this year. That we're not alone, and mark my words, it's gonna happen. But anyways, I gotta go there. This is beautiful. All right.
Yeah,
Where's the good?
that was in
There
a
we go.
geodesic zone. Like, we stayed in the middle of nowhere. I'll send you the link
Mm,
to that because it was pretty cool, very remote,
yeah,
far out, and
that's what I'm talking about.
yeah,
That's what I'm
off the
talking
beat path.
about. Right. Here we go. Right here. Boom. Jordan. I can't wait. What's this place called? Petra?
Yes, Petra. And guess what? I lost almost all of my images from that trip.
How'd you do that,
Sad day.
man?
So I have to go back.
How did you do that? Look, everybody's loving your pictures, man.
I'm still
Yeah,
hurt. I'm
I'm
still hurt.
sure. Beautiful and powerful pictures. Mind you,
Thank
let me
you
tell you
so
right
much.
now, I tell Kenny this all the time. Our friends hate her. It's a running joke because I be looking at her Facebook, man. And she would get like, I think her whole, when she posts these pictures, she should be getting like hundreds of comments. And I just think it's because her friends are hating on her. So y'all, if y'all watching this live right now, stop hating on her. Give her some love and show her some likes and throw some comments in there, man. Ooh, this shot right here, Kennedy. This shot right here. Beautiful. Japan. Okay. Nice,
Mhm.
nice. Um, I like that. What's the square called in Japan again?
Um,
The street? I forgot
nope,
the name of it.
I'm gonna, yeah, because it's on the spot. I'm not gonna be able to think about it. Yeah,
I know it's super busy, like,
it's one
but
of
I
the
I could pick
busiest
you right
streets.
out. Right, that's a great shot.
Shibuya, Shibuya.
In Shibuya, there you go. Now, who did like? So, who do you tell? Like, how did you set this shot up?
So this one, the person that was with me, I realized that you can get a really dynamic shot. There was a
Yeah.
Starbucks that was on the corner of the street, so it actually had to be taken from the inside. The Starbucks was like on the second or third floor, looking out, and then I would time it from when it's time for people to cross the street to capture the image.
Man, oh, this one right here, Kennedy. This one gonna get you. Your inbox gonna blow up. I'm sure it blew up on this one right here. Okay, where's this Ghana as well?
Hmm. That's
Okay,
Haiti. Haiti,
this is Haiti. Okay, people don't know Haiti is beautiful, man.
absolutely beautiful.
I love Haiti. Let's go through. This is Iceland. Beautiful picture as usual. Got the jewelry on, which you shouldn't have on in the pool, Miss Kennedy. But of course,
It was
Ty
actually
said
raining right before that picture. We was very lucky to be able to get an image.
that's great. It's beautiful though. What up, Ty? Say, Ty, you gonna be on here next. I'm gonna have to interview you next. Let's see. Let's see. This looks like Mexico somewhere. Is that Mexico?
Vietnam, was that?
Vietnam. Haven't been.
Yeah, that was in Saigon, one of the oldest military bunks.
Oh, look at you. See? So let's say, so did you know you were gonna do this shot right? Did you plan this out ahead of time? You're like, yo, there's a spot with the awning that says Vogue, and I need to have this black outfit. Did you?
I did. I did absolutely plan that out. Yeah.
That is amazing. That's amazing. Okay. All right. I don't know what's going on here, but look like y'all are having fun. Great. This is the dopest shot. This is hot right here. Turkey.
Yes, that was in Cappadocia.
I want to go there so bad.
It
So
is a
bad.
photographer's dream. You are going to enjoy it so much. I'm actually going to go back.
Oh yeah. Okay. Somebody's what's her travel page, social? I'll tell you right now. I got it prepared right now. Here she go. Bam!
Maybe.
Her Instagram is Sixth Wonder. You want to give me the story behind that name? Why did you choose that name?
Yeah, so I'm 6 feet, and that's always been my nickname since I was 3 6 feet. I've been tall my whole life, consistently just growing. So that six has been my nickname since I was about 14. And then I started
Okay.
playing roller derby, and I had to come
Okay.
up with a name and a character behind it. And I didn't really want to deviate away from anything other than
Makes sense.
six because so I love Wonder Woman, and so
Ah,
that's how Six
ah,
Wonder was born.
and then you tied it in with being the sixth wonder of the
The
world,
Sixth
the
Wonder of
way
the
that we
world.
have
So
traveled.
yeah, yeah.
See? Love people who are cerebral, man. Is this you?
Yeah, that
Is this
was
you right
in
here?
Bali.
Man, look at this. Look at this right here. Beautiful shot. I'm assuming you do your own makeup. Here we go again. Killing
Yeah.
it. Come on, man. Y'all better support this girl, man. And when you follow her on Facebook or Instagram, y'all better like her stuff because this is the queendom. So
Yes, that was
was
from
this
my actual ceremony when
yeah.
they were getting me dressed.
Okay.
One of my
Did you
favorite
did you
images.
orchestrate this as well or was this a candid?
No, it was maybe 20 photographers in front of me. That was the day I had
Ah,
no control to curate any
right.
images, the video at all. It was just,
All right.
the
Living her
ceremony was
best life.
probably about 2 hours long. So there
Got
was a
you.
lot of moving
Okay.
parts.
Okay. Here she is living her best life. I love doing stuff like this. Where was this?
That was in That was in Colombia. I was in
Colombia.
Medellin. Yeah.
Oh, all right. So, all right. So there you have it, man. She got tons of pictures, man. So y'all need to go check that out. But I have more stuff to show you from her. So, I'm way all over time, but I got to show y'all this. My daughter. Yes, Brianna. Hold on. Let me let her in. Yeah, but you could come in. You could. Oh, wait, let me open the door. I'm opening the door. It's my child. All right. You probably don't want to be on camera with that thing on your head. So you might. Yeah. She has a stocking on her head. And you're probably. Okay. She's showing off her nails. Not bad. Not bad. This kid here. I don't know. Can y'all see it? What's going on here? Oh, hold on. Here he is. She's into nails now, guys. So I have to. I'm showing my kid's hand now. She's doing some situation going on. There we go. All right. Good. Wonderful. Good job. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So the next thing I want to show you guys is the social fabric. I want to show you her designs. Let me try and back out of this joint right here. Get out of the travel joint. Like Kenny does everything. You're literally like Wonder Woman, like for real, for real. Here we go. Bang. All right, here we go. So here are her designs. So now, do you outsource this stuff, or are you doing this stuff on your sewing machine at home?
No. So, um, what happens is it's a pretty extensive process. So whenever I'm in West Africa, I normally purchase fabrics from various markets, from from local shops to in the trenches, and sometimes they come back to me or they go to another country. So I have a team of artisans in Nigeria,
Right.
Senegal, Gambia, and Ghana.
Come on.
So
Come on
I
now.
may get a fabric from the Gambia, and it may end up being made by my Ghanaian artisan. So
Come
I
on,
just,
man.
yeah,
Listen, let me scroll through this joint right here. Look at this. Huh? Even the red dress too. That's your design
yeah.
as well.
So I do stuff
Come on.
with regular fabric too.
Gee. Did you go to school for design? Is what I want to know.
No, not at all. I just always loved fashion. I took a sewing class one time in high school. I handmade a lot of stuff, repurposed some
Wow.
clothes, but I never
Wow.
actually
No.
like
Okay.
fostered
Have you
that at
taken a
all.
photography course?
In college, I did take one photography course, and I was actually disappointed because I wanted to learn more more about training my eye, and it was more Photoshop back end
Mm. So
processing
like
things.
you're just a natural. Is pretty much what I'm trying to get at. Look at this guy right here. Look at this guy
Yeah.
right now. That's sharp. That's sharp. So you do men stuff as well,
Yes, my next show, I'm really excited. I'm actually going to do all menswear for my next show.
bro. Come on, man. Look at this joint right here. Just beautiful. Um, Fafi says, "Where do you sell your African clothes?" She sells it on Green Book Travel, right?
Yes,
I'm gonna put it up again. Here
greenbooktravel.com/social
it is.
fabric. Yeah.
Here it is. That's it right there. Bang. You can go
They'll
there
be,
and you can see her trips and her designs, right?
yes,
I'm gonna just leave that up on the screen so
that's
people
perfect. That's
can.
actually one of my favorite images. I shot that like right upstairs. I had a model and asked her, was she open
Perfect.
to being creative? So that's actually highlighting my cosmetic company and my clothing line at the same time.
So you set up this shot, is what you're saying?
I did her makeup, I styled her, and took the picture.
Crazy. Now, as a photographer, I'm gonna break down this image real quick and tell you why it's freaking dope. Okay. First of all, the colors, like when it comes to photography, you have to know how to make colors go together, or how to make them to see the vision that they would go together, right? And then around her head, see there's some flowers, and the flowers, these are what you call leading lines. The flowers are all pointing to the model's head, so it drags you into the image. I'm getting real photography nerdy on you right now, but I don't know if you knew that when you set the shot up. Did you know that?
No,
Okay,
I just,
right.
yeah.
Wild.
The only photography rule that I know is like the rule of the thirds.
Rule
So
of thirds. Right. This is placed perfectly. Okay. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. Another group shot. Nice. Here goes homeboy right here, looking sharp as hell. As I said, I'll wear that right now. Dope. Killing it. So I'm guessing you didn't make the sequins jumpsuit or whatever that is. It's just the cape.
no, that was made as well.
What?
That was for my last show, yes, because I wanted to mix mediums.
That's wild, man. That is wild. And all these outfits here as well. That's
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Amazing. I don't even know what else to say, man. All right. We're going to get into the other thing that she does is this is her makeup line, right? I tell you, the woman does everything, right? It's called Jaunt,
Yeah.
right? So if y'all into makeup, like, what is so special about your makeup?
So jaunt was inspired. Jaunt means to take a short, pleasurable trip. So it's a
Okay.
travel theme makeup cosmetic company, and I created it around my love and my passion for travel. Wanderlust has taken me to so many things, and I wanted to be able to package the inspiration that I've seen from, aesthetically from, meeting people and seeing buildings and architectural designs and bring those things back home and package them in a color cosmetic company package. So the first collection that I created was my Africa to the World collection. And this is just a labor of love. I knew nothing about cosmetics at all other than being a consumer. So all of my products are vegan.
Oh,
That's something that I like to
okay.
brag about. And I hand design everything that you see
Now, when you
as far
say,
as the
sorry, when you say
packaging
vegan, right? So you're saying that if you
and
consume
cruelty
this
free.
stuff, there's no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So it wasn't used on animals, is what you're saying.
No, yeah.
Okay, nice. All right, all right, all right. What's going on? So these are made
And the
in
items
Africa, you said?
are, yeah, they're all fair trade. So, um, every as a part of this collection, I'm a humanitarian at heart. So proceeds from the collection actually goes back to Clean Water Initiative. So
That's
I'm
beautiful.
really excited about this connection. Collection has been very well received, and it's actually one of my favorite things. Like I'm getting like goosebumps, and my voice is getting shaking just talking about it because it's such a new project of mine, and it was something I
Wow.
just had no idea of how to create, and just to see it come alive from me sketching it and you know talking with manufacturers and talking to chemists and going through that whole process. So this was my COVID baby while I had the time to sit down and actually go into something that I've always wanted to do. So this was me kind of bringing one of my dreams alive. So really excited to introduce this product to the world.
This is what this is. This is what this is. Wow, epitome of queen energy. She curates and manifests her vision. She damn sure do, man.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I'm just getting on to this manifestation stuff. So I got, like I said, send some of that shea butter over here.
I
So
will.
yeah, let's go into more. Waist, you selling waist beads too?
Yes, and they're all hand. Everything that I do, is very native to the land. So I make sure that none of the fabrics are coming from Africa. I mean, from China.
China.
Um,
Oh yeah.
Everything that I get is actually hand sourced. Um, waist beads are very sacred. So, we make sure that they actually go through a very traditional process and making sure that they're cleansed from that energy too while women are wearing them so close to their womb and connecting with their femininity. And, it's super important. to make sure that you're getting things that are sourced the right way and handled by the right people too.
Right. Here go Ty. Damn, she nonstop. I want to be like her when I grow up. I'm telling you, man, this woman is phenomenal. And yeah, I don't have enough time in this live to go into like the things that she do, like and how deep she goes with it. You know what I mean? I have a suggestion though. And I would need a percentage if you incorporate this in your waist beads, right? If you put elastic in the waist beads, because some of these women be complaining when they eat a little bit too much and the joint be cutting off their circulation. So if you put the elastic.
Waist beads are actually considered a waste management tool. So they're just a gentle reminder that if they start to expand, they start to feel tight, then you should, manage your eating. Yeah.
You know what? You're right. You're right. Let's see. Totally understand your spiritual journey from an observer's standpoint. Listen, man, she's the epitome of this manifestation, and I'm trying to work on that. This looks like where is this? Nina Castelor. I don't know that.
Yes, that is at Omina.
Okay. All right. There you go, John. This is her daughter. Dior. She's a rapper too. And she's pretty badass with it. Like the whole family's just talented as hell, man. But yeah, like this is another thing. You photographed this as well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Amazing. Look at this.
Yeah.
Just beautiful, man. Beautiful stuff. The packaging is beautiful. The presentation is beautiful. I don't know what else to say. That's her daughter again. Just all around. I don't know what else to say, man. So listen, where we at? We are hour and 17 minutes. I think I'm gonna end it here, but I want to give you this opportunity. If there's anything else that you have going on that you want to share with everybody, feel free.
Well, I do want to say thank you. I just want to start by thanking you for the opportunity to allow me to share your platform. It's completely an honor to be able to talk about my journey and talk about my businesses and brands. I said I need to get in front of them a lot more because typically I use Facebook just to kind of, share my art side and to share a little bit of my marketing stuff and not necessarily, chatting with people. So I love to talk and I love to connect with people. So this is really, really awesome. There's so much in store right now. So I just would like to say, I look forward to doing a lot of development and working with people and aligning with people that are also on that mission that want to connect back to the continent, being a conduit for them, taking them back home. Also with the development piece, most recently over the past really 6 months, we've been helping people relocate to the continent and stay a little bit longer for those that aren't looking to stay long term. So we've been helping people procure places and land. So you'll see a lot more from me and just doing the whole Pan-African thing and leading people back to the continent. So I'm really excited about that. And not only leading, but creating processes and putting systems in place to also create future leaders and people that can create wealth for themselves.
I love it. I love all of it. Some people are saying I should have you back on because they want to hear more about what you're doing.
I'm so honored anytime.
Come on, man. Thank you so much again for doing this, man. Like, I have some dope people. You're one of the dopest of friends that I have in my circle. So I just want to spread the love and let people know, like, introduce people to some of my dopest friends, which you are definitely one. You're doing a phenomenal job, and I can't be more proud of you, man.
Thank you. We definitely, I love, I have to say, I'm loving seeing your spiritual journey. It just makes me so excited. So, if you want to talk alchemy and anything like that, we can definitely do a whole talk.
You already know, because I need some of that help with this. The what do you call it? The meditation. I'm having problems with that. you know. But
Okay.
we'll talk off the ear, you know, and you can give me some pointers
Definitely.
and tips and stuff like that, you know.
And
But
thank you
I am
everybody for joining in with us. I appreciate that.
no doubt, no doubt. I just want to leave with she had a video done of her jaunt line and had her daughter acting in it and a couple other ladies and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and play that. Take her to dinner, says Ty. Of course, I have no problems taking her to dinner. Like I've taken her to dinner before. Ty's like Kennedy's my homie, man. So thanks again. Gonna go ahead and just play this video so they could see both your fashion line and your makeup in action. It's a beautiful video. And yeah, we're gonna do it again, Kennedy.
Awesome. Thank you.
Uh, no doubt, no doubt. And listen, everybody, thanks for rocking with me, man. It's a long one, but you know, and thanks for hanging in there because we had these technical difficulties and stuff like that. Here you go, Ty. You ain't take me out to dinner. Um,
Come on,
I
Ty, come
did
join us.
right, right, yeah. Anytime, anytime.
Yep.
All right, so
On an
here we
amazing
go.
journey where
Just go
you'll be
ahead and rock
captivated
that
by
out. That's it. Dope as shit. I'll catch you on the next one, man. You guys have a great night. And Kennedy, I'll talk to you behind the scenes.
Thank you.
Peace.
Ciao.
All right, Gail, definitely watch.